Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 18th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute an investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, first, just a quick mentioning of, as always, our GFD Bank YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our videos that we produce in different languages. So yep, feel free to check us out here, and feel free to check our JFD Bank webpage, specifically the JFD research page. So here you can find different analysis that we do also on a daily basis, and I believe you can find them quite useful. So but for now, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX. Now looking at this one, I mean, as you know, yesterday the indices kind of sold off a little bit, and European indices were no exception. And looking at this one, you can see that the index closed the day in the negative territory. So it kind of came in line with this scenario that I've threw out here a while ago. I mean, when I looked at DAX last time, basically I was saying that keep an eye on this level here, this area of resistance between the 12,436 and the 12,485 zones, approximately around there. You can see that for us, the kind of the breaking point in order to kind of aim for higher levels was this one, the 12,485, but it kind of never reached that level, and reversed and drifted back to the south. Now what we're going to do here, of course, we're going to shift this arrow a little bit here, but what we're going to do here from the short-term perspective, what you could keep an eye on here is this key area of support near the 12,306, 305, something like that. Actually, I think this one is a little bit lower. So that's going to be around the 300. So basically the psychological 300, 12,300 could be a nice target to watch out for. If we see a break below this, then this would confirm a forthcoming lower low here on the shorter time frame, and we could then target the 12,190 area, or maybe slightly below that. We do have the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, which in a way also could get tested. So that's why, guys, for now, if I'm just gonna quickly highlight this area, this is the area that we're keeping a close eye on in order to kind of consider slightly lower areas. But in terms of the upside, still for us, this level here remains the kind of the barrier for higher levels. So the 12,485 approximately around there, and the 12,300 here on the downside. So keep your eyes on those. Ripple. Now Ripple, I talked about Ripple yesterday in my Traders Espresso as well, in the morning video. So basically what I was saying, that keep an eye on this 0.2942 level, 40 zone, which kind of acted as a nice good area of support, and as you can see why, it previously also was a nice area of support here back on the 10th of May. And what I was saying, that we may see this one kind of drifting back to the upside here, but the upside could be limited due to the downside resistance line that we've got here running from around the 26th of June. So keep an eye on this one, guys. I mean, in a way, it could travel a little bit higher here. Maybe this would come in line with having a nice little correction. But if it struggles to get above this downside line, then, well, I mean, it could sell off again and could drift to the downside. But again, for us, as you can see by the arrow here, in order to kind of, let's say, get comfortable with the downside, I mean, ideally, we would like to see a drop below the 0.2942 level first. Then we do have another good, slightly I wouldn't say better, but another potential obstacle here near the 0.2825 zone. But if those two kind of fail to hold this this crypto from moving lower, a nice good break would confirm a forthcoming lower low here on the shorter time frame, and we could see then this one drifting maybe towards the 0.25 or 25.20, something like that. So keep your eyes on this one. For now, even with the upside, we're going to be very careful, because for us to consider the upside again, ideally we'd like to see a push back above the 0.35 level here, and only then we'll target higher areas, because this way the crypto would break this downside line and push above one of its key areas of resistance, previously acting as support here at one point, and then acting as a resistance again. And this one, like I said, this could play out nicely here if we see a push above the 0.3506, 05, something like that. So keep your eyes on this level, and let's see how this is going to play out. So jumping into a few pairs now very quickly. This one, the first one is the AUDUSD. So the Australian dollar is having a nice run. So after selling off here a little bit here, and drifting lower, yesterday it found good support near the 0.6995 level, and now it's kind of pushing itself back here towards this week's highs, and those are near. Let me just quickly put this level right there, guys. There we go. So this is near the 0.7045 area. So this is near, that's the kind of the low, the high of this week. But slightly above that, we do have another good potential area of resistance near the 0.7048. So which marks the high of the 4th of July. So basically the highest point of July so far. And if we see the pair pushing above both of these levels here, then this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the bulls, as we could see more of them jumping in here and potentially driving this one to the 0.7060 or the 0.7880 zone, approximately around there, guys. So for now, be very careful. Of course, we know that you know probably that we did get the unemployment figures from Australia. Initially, during the release, the AUDUSD kind of sold off, but probably that was mainly due to the weaker employment change. But the full employment change kind of was better than the previous, and you can see that this one kind of started pushing higher. I mean, the unemployment rate came as expected at 5.2, so kind of this supported a little bit the Australian dollar against the US dollar here. It may continue pushing higher. I mean, today, looking at the pivot points, we can see that we have the R2, and the pair is not far from its R2, which is near the 0.7040 level. Good potential target, but like I said, slightly above that we do have these levels which could get tested as well, so keep your eyes on those. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, it's going to be a very conservative approach here, and we're gonna wait until we see a drop below the 0.6995 zone, and this way we could then target lower areas. For now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table for this one. Let's see how this is going to play out. GBPUSD. GBPUSD is trying to fight back, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. Basically, this is the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, the 1.2440. This is not only that it acted as a good area of support here previously in the beginning of July, it also was the kind of previously the lowest point of the year. So marking it marks the low here of the 2nd of January, this flash crash that we had. So basically that previous lowest point here, because now the new lowest point is near the 1.2380, approximately around there, and the pair is now pushing away from that and testing this 1.2440. If we see a further push higher here, that's good news for the bulls here. We may see this one correcting a little bit more here. The only thing is that the upside could be limited due to this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 3rd of May. So this is basically what I was talking about yesterday. So if we see a further push from above the 1.2440, keep your eyes on some of these higher levels, especially the 1.25, 1.2507, something like that here, which acted as a good area of support here previously, now could take the role of resistance. GBPUSD, now this is kind of combining the previous two pairs, and looking at this, basically, as you can see, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while now. So what we could do, let me just clear this chart a little bit here. So there we go. So let's get rid of some of these lines, basically. There we go. So basically what we've got here is we have a of course still a downslide here, a down move for GBPUSD. Looking at this, and let me just quickly draw a trend line, or it's going to be more of a tentative downside resistance line, I would say, even because we do have some gaps here and a lot of here. So that's why for now we're going to keep an eye on it. There is another smaller one, smaller downside line here that you could keep an eye on. Let me just adjust this one. There we go. Which you could also keep an eye on. I mean, it's also, if this one is a tentative one, no, this one is a even more tentative. So, but from the short-term perspective, in a way, we could keep an eye on it, because looking at this picture here, you can see that after finding good support near this level right here, near the 1.7628 zone, approximately around there, the pair reversed and kind of pushed higher again. The only thing is that it's struggling, as you can see, it's struggling to push above the 21 EMA. But what we could do here is we could keep an eye on this level right here near the 1.7756, 55 zone, something like that. This way, if we get a nice pop above this level, we could get a nice pop above the 21 EMA automatically as well, and this could in a way open the path towards this tentative downside line here, taken from the high of the 1st of July. We'll see how it's going to perform around here, but let's say if this decides to reverse further down and kind of decides to drop below the this week's lows near the 1.7628, then the next potential area of support could be seen near the 1.7555 zone. And just to kind of show you what that level was here in the past, you can see that this was this little area of resistance and support at the same time. So you could keep an eye on this level just for the sake of it, basically, just to see if it actually going to stall maybe near this area. And this is going back into December of last year. So this good potential area of support could play out, but only we'll consider that only if we see a drop below the 1.7628 zone. So for now, keep your eyes on this one. Very interesting pair, and of course, given that the pound is slightly on the weaker side and the Australian dollar is trying to make its way higher again now, in a way this pair could drift further down, and like I said, that's why we're not going to drag it too far to the downside. We're going to first aim for this 1.7555, but only if we see a drop below the 1.7628. For now, we're just going to continue observing it and wait and see in which direction it will decide to break through. Jumping into euro dollar very quickly, so just a quick update on this one. Basically, this one's having a nice rebound, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. After we saw this nice rebound from this upside support line, the pair is kind of trying to make its way up again. The only thing is that now it's finding good resistance near this 1.1244 level. I also mentioned this one in my videos, and I kind of kept mentioning this one in my videos, but the only thing is that in terms of the upside here, further upside, we're going to be very careful, because for us the level here, the 1.1275, still remains as an important one. For some maybe of you, it's this one. So of course this is the 1.1284, 85 area. Also, you could keep an eye on that one, but we will start considering higher levels initially if we see a break above the 1.1275, and then we'll of course be very careful around here near the 1.1285, and if that gets cleared, then yep, this could travel towards the 1.13 and above. For now, probably we're going to remain very careful. In terms of the downside, also we're going to take a very cautious approach, because we need to see this good break below this upside support line, even though it's a bit of a, actually I wouldn't even say that it's a tentative anymore. I mean, it's a nice good support line. So if we see a nice good drop below this upside support line, keep your eyes on some of these lower levels, the 1.1190, then yep, this could, in a way, a break below that could open the path towards further declines. So also, like I said, keep your eyes on this 1.1244, because if it holds, then we could see this one maybe reversing and pushing back down towards this upside line. But again, for now, it's a bit of a tricky one, because it has picked up momentum here. So in a way, it could travel back into this little range here, but this is, for us, is a bit of a neutral territory. And the last pair for this session is the USDCHF. Looking at this one, we've posted here on our TradingView account this one, and basically what we said is that we're waiting for a clear break. We're not doing anything yet, because as you can see, it traveled higher yesterday before we kind of posted this one. It kind of got held near this 0.9908 level, and near this 200 EMA as well, and then sold off. So that's why for now, we're, like I said, as we said as well, we are neutral. We're keeping a close eye on these potential kind of breaking points. Of course, in terms of the downside, you can see that for now it seems the pair seems to be respecting this upside support line, a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless a support line. If we see a drop below this, then yep, we could consider a further slide towards the 0.9814, 15 zone, something like that. But if it fails, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the bears, as we could see further declines here towards the 0.9775 or even further down. In terms of the upside, still for us the same level remains here, because some could say probably that if it rebounds from this upside line, then we could see this one pushing higher. True. The only thing is that it might reverse somewhere around here and then kind of sell off again. I mean, we've seen certain similar kind of scenarios happening a lot, so that's why we're just going to wait for that confirmation break here above the 0.9908, because this way the pair would place itself also above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and could kind of support which could support kind of the further upside. In a way, if for those who are like more on the riskier side, you could start looking at higher levels, maybe near this area, near the 0.9866. If we start seeing a push above this, then keep your eyes on all these EMAs, the 21, the 50, and the 100. If we see a further push above it, then yep, we could see maybe a further travel to the 200 EMA. So for now, keep your eyes on that. Let's see how this is going to play out, and yep, I hope it's gonna work out as I said here, because it would be quite interesting to maybe pick up a trade on this one. But again, like I said, for now, you be the judge. You do whatever is comfortable for you guys. This is just an idea, so let's see how this is gonna play out. Okay. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me later on at my traders tea time, and that's always as always 13:15 GMT time. For now, have a nice day, guys. I really have a nice day, and I hope the market goes in your favor. Thank you very much, and bye bye.